This is the complete psychology of a bad habit and why your brain is essentially designed to keep doing the things you know are destroying you. Right now, the average American checks their phone 205 times a day. Over 91% of us own a smartphone, and we spend more than 4 hours daily staring at those screens. Nearly 3/4 of Americans regret their spending habits. The top 5 bad habits in America are not exercising enough, not saving enough money, procrastinating, sleeping too little, and staying up too late. We know these behaviors are hurting us. We've known for years, and yet we keep doing them. The question isn't whether bad habits are harmful. The question is why we can't stop. The answer lives inside your skull. Across the country, millions of people are locked in the same daily battles, scrolling, spending, putting things off, staying up late, and waking up tired. The numbers are staggering. Over 90% of American adults now own a smartphone. Screen time stretches past 4 hours for the average person, not counting television or other devices. 3 out of 4 Americans say they regret their spending decisions, yet the cycle repeats. The 5 most common self-reported bad habits are not exercising, failing to save money, procrastinating, sleeping too little, and staying up too late. In the aftermath of the pandemic, more than half of adults are still trying to break unhealthy routines they picked up during lockdown, especially too much screen time, poor eating, and disrupted sleep. These patterns cut across age, income, and background. It's not a rare problem or a personal flaw. It's nearly everyone, nearly every day. The scale alone begs for an explanation beyond willpower. 2 powerful systems shape every choice we make. One is fast and automatic, built to save energy by running on routine. The other is slow and deliberate, weighing options and mapping out consequences. Most of the time, the automatic system takes the lead, especially when we are tired, distracted, or stressed. This is the brain's way of conserving effort, turning repeated actions into shortcuts. Charles Duhigg, in his book, The Power of Habit, describes a simple loop at the center of this process. Cue, craving, response, reward. A cue triggers anticipation. The craving builds, we act, and then get a reward. Run this loop enough times, and the brain starts to treat the whole sequence as one unit. The goal is not to sabotage us, it is to make life easier. But once a habit loop is set, it can run on autopilot, often before the slower, more thoughtful part of the mind even has a chance to speak up. Dopamine is often called the brain's pleasure chemical, but that is not quite right. In 1958, Arvid Carlsson and Niels Acker Hillarp isolated dopamine in the brain, opening the door to a deeper understanding of its true function. Decades later, researchers uncovered that dopamine's main job is not to deliver pleasure, but to fuel anticipation. When something turns out better than expected, dopamine neurons fire, a pattern known as reward prediction error. This firing does not just react to rewards, it responds to cues that hint a reward is coming. Over time, the brain learns to anticipate, and dopamine surges before the reward even arrives. This shift transforms neutral triggers into cravings, giving ordinary cues the power to drive habits even when we know better. Deep inside the brain, a cluster of cells takes over once a habit is set. Anne Graybiel at MIT discovered that the basal ganglia, specifically the dorsal striatum, fires in a distinctive pattern when a routine begins and ends, like bookends bracketing the entire sequence. These start and stop signals mean the brain can run the whole routine as a single chunk, bypassing the slower, more effortful prefrontal cortex. The process is efficient, but it comes at a cost. Once the circuit is established, behavior unfolds almost automatically. This is why reaching for a phone or opening a snack bag can happen before conscious thought even catches up. The brain is saving effort, running well-worn loops on autopilot. A phone buzzes on a cluttered desk. An office worker's hand moves before the thought even forms, eyes flicking to the screen, pulse quickening at the hope of news or relief from boredom. The device goes down, but the mind is already waiting for the next cue. Elsewhere, a young professional steps outside after a tense meeting, fingers searching for a cigarette. The first inhale brings a wave of calm, a brief escape from stress that fades almost as quickly as it arrives. Late at night, a shopper scrolls through endless options, the glow of the screen cutting through silence. One click leads to another, the promise of a package on the way, offering a fleeting sense of control. Each scene is ordinary, each loop familiar. The cost is measured in restless nights, unfinished tasks, and a quiet longing for change. The idea that a bad habit can be broken or a good one built in just 21 days is everywhere. But this number traces back to Maxwell Maltz, a plastic surgeon in 1960, who noticed his patients adjusted to new faces in about 3 weeks. Over time, that anecdote turned into a rule, even though real science tells a different story. In a landmark study, psychologist Philippa Lally tracked people trying to start new routines. The average time to make a habit automatic was 66 days, but the range stretched from just 18 to 254 days. A 2024 review found timelines as short as 4 days and as long as 335. The truth is that the popular willpower story does not hold up either. Early studies claimed self-control was like a fuel tank that runs out, but newer research shows the effect disappears when people believe willpower is unlimited. Habit change is not about personal failure or magic numbers. It is about working with the brain's real timelines and limits. Mindfulness training, shown in Judson Brewer's trial to double quit rates for smokers, builds awareness of cravings before they turn into action. Trinity College, Dublin's 2024 review points to redesigning cues, tweaking rewards, and adding friction, like keeping tempting apps off your home screen or rewarding yourself immediately for a healthy choice. These aren't tricks. They are proven levers that make new habits stick and old ones fade. Right now, your brain runs on ancient wiring in a modern world. Change isn't about blame, it's about strategy. The system isn't broken. The next move is yours. What will you rewire?